After hitting the jackpot for $50 million, my first call was to him, for a divorce. Grace, are you out of your mind? Can you afford the breach penalty? Marcus's voice on the phone was languid, and a woman's voice beside him made no attempt to hide. Darling, who is it so early? I took a deep breath. 10 million. I'll transfer it to your debit card in a moment. He wanted money to trap me for the rest of my life. Too bad I wouldn't let him have his way. After I left, he went to jail. I was a child bride of the family. When was 12, he was in a car accident. The hospital diagnosed it as a mild concussion, nothing serious. Yet, he lay in bed for half a month, unable to wake up. Grandma was a superstitious woman, deeply worried. She specifically invited a spiritual to pray for Marcus. The advisor performed a ritual dance around Marcus for a long time, chanting incantations. Finally, the spiritual made a quick divination, saying Marcus was destined for this misfortune, and a fated romantic connection appeared was needed to turn the danger into safety. Marcus was still young. There was no sign of a fated romantic connection for him. The family was in a flurry, at a loss. Seeing this, the spiritual offered a suggestion, saying that if they just found someone whose natal charts were compatible and had Marcus marry a young woman, it might be as successful as ceremonial marriage for good luck. My chart, along with those of several other girls, was brought before Grandma. The advisor praised my natal chart profusely, saying I was a perfect homemaker, well suited for marriage and family. Not only was I a match made in heaven with Marcus, but I could also bring prosperity to the family. At that time, my father's company was facing difficulties and owed the family a large sum of money. The family proposed an agreement. If I married into the family, my father's debt would be cleared. But if I breached the contract, I would have to pay a penalty of 10 million. My F.A. There, wanting a son to continue the family legacy, had 7 children with my mother, 6 daughters and 1 son. To be able to send 1 daughter to pay off the debt, my father was naturally overjoyed. He joyfully sent me to the family, and from then on, he paid no attention to me. Just a few days after I moved into the family estate, Marcus truly woke up, as if by a miracle. The family was ecstatic, and they even treated me as Marcus's lucky star. They transferred me to Marcus's class, insisting I always stay by his side. From then on, except for bathroom and shower breaks, Marcus and I were almost inseparable. Marcus was very kind to me. One could even say he doted on me. He always called me Grace tenderly, his eyes full of laughter. At home, he would often gently stroke my head. The family adults observed this, pleased in their hearts, believing they had done something extremely beneficial for Marcus. Marcus would hold my hand going to and from school, as if afraid I'd get lost. Every time we walked through the school hallways, I could feel the envious and jealous stares from behind the classroom windows. Marcus would eat lunch in the school cafeteria, always insisting on sitting across from me to eat. Sometimes, when it was most crowded, he would pick up a piece of meat and put it into my mouth. Whenever he did this, there would be gasps of awe from around us, making my heart flutter with a mix of surprise and a strange warmth. I gradually let go of my initial fear and unease. Slowly, a vague affection for Marcus began to grow in my heart. After all, he was so handsome and the only son of the family. He showed no disdain or resentment towards me, his a ceremonial marriage for good luck bride, but was instead so gentle and considerate. I thought anyone would be moved by that. However, until that day, I was cornered by Jake in the alleyway outside the school. That day, Marcus said he wasn't feeling well, so the family driver took him home first. Jake was tearing at my clothes. His cronies beside him were screaming excitedly. I resisted with all my might, shouting, "Do you know who I am?" Jake ripped open my top, laughing even more wildly. "Who doesn't know you're young Vance's little wife? How dare you treat me like this? Aren't you afraid the family will come after you?" I tried to threaten him. "Come after us?" Jake and his cronies seemed to have heard the funniest joke. "Little sister, it seems you still don't know the truth." Jake pulled out his phone and put it on speaker. Once the phone call connected, he arrogantly said, "Young Vance, we've got the little wife. How do you want us to play with her?" A familiar yet cold voice came from the other end of the phone call, "Whatever." Then came the busy signal of the disconnected phone call. Though it was only 2 short words, I heard them crystal clear. It was Marcus's voice. Familiar, yet so foreign it chilled me to the bone. During the brief pause while Jake was on the phone call, I quietly picked up an empty beer bottle from the ground and hid it behind me. Jake hung up the phone. He slowly approached me, looking utterly unconcerned. I swung the beer bottle I held and smashed it into his head with all my might. Jake clutched his head and collapsed to the ground. I gripped the broken bottle tightly in my hand, waving it wildly at the thugs. The thugs wanted to grab me, but no one dared to come close. Suddenly, Jake struggled to his feet, trying to grab my hand. In the chaos, my hand, still clutching the bottle, felt a warm sensation. Jake clutched his stomach and fell into a pool of blood. When Vance's family came to the police station to pick me up, Marcus came along too. The moment he saw me, he rushed forward in a single stride. Looking at me covered in blood and trembling, he tenderly took my hand. "Grace, are you all right?" Marcus's eyes were glistening with tears. It didn't look like he was faking it. I paused for a moment and quickly forced myself to calm down. Sneered inwardly. "Marcus, I'm so scared. Who isn't an actor, really?" Marcus pulled me into his embrace and turned to the police. "We're going to pursue this to the fullest extent." The family's lawyer handled the case with the police. It was deemed self-defense, so I was allowed to go home with the family. All the way home, Marcus was on the phone call with the family doctor, asking him to come to the estate as soon as possible, and kept blaming himself, saying that even if he wasn't feeling well and went home first, he should have left the driver behind. Catherine held my hand, saying with concern, "Grace, it's a good thing you were quick-witted, or the consequences today would have been unimaginable. Don't worry, Dr. Reynolds is very skilled, you definitely won't have any scars." Wiping away tears, I nodded and obediently leaned into Marcus's embrace. Jake didn't reveal anyone. He took all the blame himself. Because he was still young, he was only sent to a juvenile detention center. From then on, Marcus's care for me visibly increased. His demeanor even made those around him believe he loved me to his core. If I hadn't personally heard that phone call Jake made, even I would have thought the same. Because of that contract, as soon as I reached legal marriageable age, the family pushed me to get the marriage certificate. Marcus and I were considered childhood sweethearts. In everyone's eyes, he loved me so much. I instantly became the envy of all the girls in the city. Marcus also became synonymous with devotion and deep affection. The family's wedding was exceptionally grand. The wedding video was even made into a promotional film for Vance, playing on loop on video media screens throughout the city. A month after the wedding, William officially transferred the company's management rights to Marcus, and I became the rightful CEO's wife of Vance. Marcus gradually became busier, slowly missing our breakfasts, dinners, and weekend family activities. Often, a single phone call would send him off to deal with work. Marcus would gently kiss me every time he left, and bring me a gift every time he returned. Sometimes it was a bouquet of flowers, sometimes it was exquisite jewelry. One more night Marcus was working overtime. I received a phone call from an unknown number. I answered, and a strange yet familiar voice entered my ear. "Little sister, oh, no, now it's Mrs. Vance. Long time no see." My memories were instantly pulled back to that afternoon after middle school. Jake's rough tearing in the alleyway. The warm feel of blood on my hand became exceptionally clear and vivid. My heart began to pound wildly. I desperately tried to control myself, keeping my tone as calm as possible. "Jake, you're out." "Yeah, I'm out. And it's time we settled our score, isn't it?" I sneered. "I haven't even settled my score with you yet. What is there to settle with you?" Jake also sneered. "Yeah, I shouldn't have come to you, but Marcus stiffed me, so I guess I'll collect from his wife. Mrs. Vance, I'm right outside your door now. Come out, I'll take you to see something good for free." I was about to ignore him and hang up the phone. Jake suddenly said, "Don't you want to find out what really happened back then?" My hand, about to hang up the phone, stopped. After thinking for a moment, I changed my clothes and went out. Jake didn't say a word the entire way. He drove at high speed up to Overlook. Just before reaching Overlook, Jake turned off the car lights and stopped under a large tree. Another car was parked not far away. Jake lit a cigarette. "Mrs. Vance, take a look at who that is." I carefully checked the license plate number. It was Marcus's car. "Go down and take a look, I promise you'll be surprised." I glanced at Jake suspiciously, but still got out of the car and walked towards Marcus's vehicle. Before I even reached the car, I saw its body gently shaking. The soft moans of a woman and the muffled grunts of a man intertwined, sting towards me. My steps halted, rooted to the spot, unable to move forward. Taking several deep breaths, I mustered my courage and walked to the rear diagonal of the car. The car door was open, and two people inside were naked, entangled. The woman's legs sometimes opened, sometimes tightly locked around the man's slender waist. The man forcefully vented his desire on the woman. The woman whimpered softly, begging for mercy. It was Marcus, the Marcus who seemed to love me so much. I covered my mouth and stumbled back to Jake's car. Jake watched me with a mocking expression. "Go, drive, quickly." I almost shrieked the words. At a late-night street food stall, I poured Jake a beer and filled one for myself. I clinked my glass against Jake's, almost absently, and drank it down in one gulp. Jake looked at the beer bottle I was holding. "You used this kind of bottle to put me in the hospital back then. So, why exactly did you hurt me back then?" "What else?" "For money, of course. Young Vance said he'd give me 100,000 to ruin you." "Did he say why he wanted to ruin me?" "He didn't mention that." "How much does he still owe you?" 60,000. He said he'd pay it after the job was done." I picked up my phone and transferred 60,000 to Jake. "I'll give you this money, but on one condition: you have to do something for me when I need your help in the future." Jake picked up his phone to confirm the transfer, then stood up. "Mrs. Vance is truly generous. Just say the word if you need anything." It was already early morning when I got home. Marcus wasn't home yet. I had barely lain down in bed when I heard the doorknob turn. The edge of the bed dipped slightly. A soft kiss was pressed onto my cheek. It was Marcus's scent, mixed with an unfamiliar perfume. Then came the sound of running water as Marcus went to shower. The phone on the bedside table lit up. I picked it up and glanced at it. It was a woman named Isabel, who had sent a red lip emoji. I took a photo with my own phone and quickly put Marcus's phone back in its place. The next day when I woke up, Marcus had already gone to work. An exquisite jewelry box was sitting on the living room table. Inside were a pair of diamond stud earrings. "Grace is awake. These are from Marcus. It makes me so happy to see how loving you two are." Grandma came over in her wheelchair. Taking my hand, she smiled kindly at me. "They say the enemy of my enemy is my friend." Grandma didn't like her daughter-in-law, so she had dictated Marcus's life arrangements from childhood to adulthood. Over the years at the family estate, she was the kindest to me. I smiled and knelt down. "If it weren't for you, Grandma, how could I have such a wonderful husband?" Grandma gently patted my back. "Grace is the best behaved. Grandma's judgment has never been wrong. Go eat breakfast quickly. I told the kitchen to stew some bird's nest for you." I got up and frowned slightly. Marcus never put the things he gave me in our bedroom, or handed them to me privately. Every time, he would leave them in the living room, or give them to me in front of the whole family, as if putting on a show of our affection. If I have evidence of Marcus's infidelity, can I get a divorce without paying the breach penalty? After breakfast, I made an appointment with Michael, my law school senior. He was now a partner at a prominent law firm. "Grace, I understand how you feel, but a court won't grant a divorce based solely on infidelity. Are there other ways? If you sue for divorce based on irreconcilable differences, you'll need evidence of the breakdown of the relationship. Do you have that?" I thought of Marcus's public displays of affection and the gifts he gave me almost daily. I shook my head, a self-deprecating smile. "Then there's really nothing that can be done." I left the coffee shop. Standing by the roadside, I sent the screenshot of the message I took to Jake. "Help me find all the information about Mar. 'Cause a fair partner. You'll be well compensated." I put my phone back in my pocket. Looking up, I saw the pedestrian crossing light turn green. Just a few steps out, a huge force slammed into my side. My body was thrown into the air, then fell heavily. Before consciousness faded, a black car sped past me. When I opened my eyes, my whole body was covered in tubes. I tried to move my body slightly, only to find my entire body confined by medical equipment. The only thing I could move freely were my eyeballs. The family's live-in nurse, who was attending to me, realized I was awake and quickly called for the doctor. After the doctor confirmed my condition, he informed the family. The information took most of the day to reach them. It wasn't until evening that Marcus, pushing Grandma, came to my hospital room. The moment he saw me, Marcus practically sprinted over. "Grace, you scared me to death. I almost thought I'd never see you again in this lifetime. I can't live without you." Marcus's eyes were filled with tears. A single tear streamed down his cheek. Grandma mumbled by the bedside, "It's good that you're awake. Grace, You're blessed with great fortune and a long life, thanks to the family ancestors' blessings. My dear grandson, don't be too sad, your health is important. Watching the grandmother and grandson's performance, I felt like my half-dead state, lying here, was truly superfluous. I had been in a coma for over a week. The doctor said I had been severely injured in the collision. My internal organs were badly damaged and required a long period of rest and recovery. Not long after being discharged and returning to the family estate, I heard that the family would soon have a grandson. Grandma began preparing to calculate the auspicious time of birth for the child and choose a name. The family was filled with an atmosphere of joy welcoming a new life. Grandma took my hand and said, "Grace, don't overthink this. Marcus made a mistake. I won't let that woman step foot in this house." She added, "Once the child is born, we'll give him to you to raise. You'll be his biological mother. Focus on recovering, don't worry about anything." It turned out they saw my body was severely damaged, and were afraid I couldn't have children anymore. But having just survived a near-fatal car accident, only to be unexpectedly becoming an instant mom right after discharge, Marcus's sudden child certainly appeared at a convenient time. Marcus knelt before me, crying profusely. He said he shouldn't have had too much to drink, and shouldn't have been tempted by the hostess sent by a client. In Vance's family's enormous living room, he slapped himself, one slap after another. They even echoed. As a child bride sold into the Vance family for a ceremonial marriage for good luck, if I didn't forgive him, it would mean I was unappreciative and disrespectful. Presumably, the family would all be unable to hold back and would come out to interrogate me. I wheeled my chair over to Marcus, and with tear-filled eyes, I helped him up with both hands. "You're my husband, how could I not trust you? Since it's already like this, let's do as Grandma says." Suddenly, it felt as though several eavesdropping doors had quietly closed. I recalled that scene at Overlook. The chill in my heart felt like it was about to freeze over. "Hostess sent by a client," he said. To be able to drive all the way to Overlook after drinking, and then be tempted. When handed me the information, looking at my 2 legs, wrapped like a mummy, he remarked, "My soul almost left my body when I first heard you got run over. What, you tried to harm me and now you're getting emotional? You're actually worried about me?" I found it amusing. Jake chuckled twice. "You're in this state, and you still have such a high opinion of yourself? I was worried you'd die and I wouldn't get paid for this job. Even if I were foolish, I couldn't be tricked twice in a row by the family." I glanced at Jack. But you still finished the job, didn't you?" "Yeah, I thought about it, you're a little girl with a lucky star and a long life. We couldn't do anything to you when you were little, so you should be able to get through this too." I like hearing that. Money exchanged for goods, Jake got out of my car and disappeared into the crowd. The information Jake gave me was truly shocking. The woman's name was Isabel, Marcus's childhood sweetheart, and his long-lost love, the one that got away. Before that car accident, the family had an engagement. At the time, Marcus and Isabel were hailed as a golden couple. But a car accident changed everything. The family went on vacation together to a suburban estate and had a violent collision with a large truck going the wrong way. The truck was carrying construction rebar. The family's car was in front, followed closely by the family's car. The rebar penetrated through the front windshield and the entire body of the family's car. Isabel's father was impaled and died on the spot. Isabel and her mother were severely injured. The family's car wasn't severely impacted. Only the driver and Marcus, who was in the passenger seat, sustained minor injuries. The family, seeing Isabel's fate was uncertain, and the spiritual consulted by Grandma calculated that Isabel's natal chart clashed with Marcus's, which was why their joint outing had resulted in such a disaster. Grandma immediately decided that regardless of whether Isabel could be saved, Marcus and Isabel's engagement would be called off. They told Marcus in unison that Isabel was dead. Isabel and her mother were sent to a hospital abroad. After's father died, her mother had no one to rely on, and could only accept the family's terms, taking a large sum of money and their daughter, never to return to the country. But was incredibly clever. Not long after he woke up, he began secretly investigating Isabel's whereabouts, and Fina LLY found his long-lost love, the one that got away, whom he had longed for day and night. On one hand, he deceived the family, showing me extreme affection, calming me down to obediently play the part of a loving couple with him. On the other hand, he helped Isabel recover from her illness and sent her back to the country. I suddenly understood why Marcus wanted Jake to ruin me, and why this inexplicable car accident happened. Because only if something significant happened to me could I vacate the position of Mrs. Vance. Only then would he have a chance to persuade the family to marry his long-lost love, the one that got away. A chill ran down my spine. Marcus had played a grand game. But what sin had I committed to be sold into the Vance family by my own father to pay off a debt, and have my nominal husband wishing for me to come to a bad end every day? I didn't care if Marcus loved me or not. I just wanted to live well. Knowing everything, I became even more desperate to leave the family. On the way back, the car passed a lottery stand. A banner was conspicuously hung outside the store, congratulating the station for a winning ticket, with a prize of $50 million. I suddenly remembered I hadn't checked the lottery ticket I bought before the car accident. Buying lottery tickets was a habit I'd had since childhood. My father was a complete opportunist. Before, there were 6 sisters and 1 brother in our family, and the financial pressure was immense. My father always fantasized about winning the lottery, then the whole family could be financially secure. So I also followed my father's example, saving my allowance to buy lottery tickets, as if fervently praying for a miracle. I fumbled in my bag and pulled out a crumpled lottery ticket. I opened my phone and checked the winning numbers for that drawing, comparing them to my lottery ticket numbers, one by one. From the first number to the 7th, every single one was among the winning numbers. I slapped my face twice to make sure I wasn't dreaming. I checked the final redemption deadline, desperately suppressing the wild joy within me. I quietly put the lottery ticket back into the bottom of my bag. Back at the family estate, I cooperated even more actively with the family doctor's treatment. Normally, I found the bone broth the kitchen made too greasy and secretly poured it out. But now, to recover quickly, I accepted it all, on schedule and in full portions. Finally, 2 weeks later, I had my cast removed and could stand and walk normally again. I went to the bank and opened a new debit card. Bundled up to be barely recognizable, I went to the lottery headquarters to cash in my winning ticket. The moment the prize money was deposited into my account, I felt like I had been reborn. Indeed, in this world, money is the antidote to all suffering. Ever since I agreed to accept Marcus's illegitimate child, the hours he spent at home grew shorter. For the past month, Marcus used the excuse that he was afraid of crowding me in bed and hindering my recovery, and simply, brazenly moved out. After I had everything prepared, one morning, I made a phone call to Marcus. "Marcus, let's get a divorce." Marcus's reaction was a beat slow, clearly suffering from a hangover from the night before. His voice was slurred, as if he hadn't fully woken up. "Grace, what are you talking about? Are you kidding?" I said. "Marcus, let's get a divorce." I emphasized my tone, saying each word loudly and clearly. Marcus's voice held a hint of anger, yet he suppressed it, saying, "Grace, darling, if something's bothering you, let's talk about it when I get back. Don't make a scene." "Marcus, do you not understand plain English?" I raised my voice. "I said I want a divorce. Whoever wants to be Mrs. Vance can be her. I'm out of this game." Marcus was completely sober now. "Grace, what the hell is wrong with you? Do you have the breach penalty ready?" Marcus's tone was mocking and cutting, languid et with a hint of triumph. It was a side of him I didn't know. In the phone's background noise, there was also a woman's disgruntled purr. "Darling, who is it so early? I'm ready. 10 million. Once the divorce agreement is signed, we'll be quits." I continued, "My lawyer will send you the divorce agreement. Once you sign it, I'll pay immediately, not a penny less." With that, I angrily hung up the phone. From the moment I was sold into the Vance family, for so many years, I had lived cautiously and carefully trying to please every member of the family. I naively thought that although my birth family treated me like discarded trash, I could, however, in the family, by diligently playing the role of Marcus's wife, obtain a peaceful life. But my efforts only resulted in one deadly blow after another. Thank goodness for giving me a chance to be reborn, allowing me to finally leave this manipulative place openly and start anew. I fully entrusted the divorce proceedings to Michael and bought a flight ticket for that very day. Everything Vance family had given me, I didn't take a single thing. Michael said that when Marcus received the divorce agreement, he became extremely furious. Not only did he tear the agreement to shreds, but he also had Michael rudely kicked out. All of this was within my expectations. The family had an unwritten rule: all descendants, if they wanted to officially become the group's successor, must first establish a stable family. The family had always adhered to the principle of establish a family before a career. I bore the label of being a perfect homemaker, well suited for marriage and family, and was beneficial to the family's prosperity. The family wouldn't let me leave so easily. Marcus started frantically calling my phone. In just 3 days, he made more phone calls to me than he had in the previous year combined. I put my phone on silent, put on my sunglasses, and spread my arms, quietly feeling the tropical sea breeze. Tea was the taste of freedom. On the morning of the 4th day, I lit up my phone. Among my missed calls, besides Marcus's, there was now an unknown number. Just as I was about to ignore it, the number called again. I hesitated, then pressed the answer button. "This is Isabel. Don't hang up the phone. I want to discuss a partnership with you." It was a pleasant female voice. These days, anything is possible. A mistress looking for a partnership with the wife. That's just insane. But it successfully piqued my interest. "What kind of partnership do you want with me?" "I have evidence that Marcus someone to cause the car accident. You help me get back Hayes Company, and I'll give you the evidence." I found it absurd. "As far as I know, you're already pregnant with Marcus's child." "The child isn't Marcus's," Isabel said bitterly. "After my father died in that car accident, the family tricked my mother into selling all my father's shares at a low price, becoming the largest shareholder of Hayes Company. They sent my mother and me abroad, telling us never to return, and then seized my father's life's work. The family didn't want my mother and me to return to the country, not because of Marcus's and my engagement, but because they were afraid their conspiracy would be exposed." Although I was in the tropics, Isabel's words sent a chill down my spine. So, cunning and scheming ran in the family. But, all of that was done by the family adults back then. "You don't need to take revenge on Marcus, especially since he truly loves you." "Love me?" Isabel scoffed. "After learned everything, he had no intention of returning the company to me. He's cowardly and selfish, only wanting to trick me into being his mistress to satisfy his desires. He would never defy his family for me." After hearing Isabel's words, I pondered for a moment. "All right, I'll help you, but I want Marcus to go to prison, and you'll have to be a witness then." "No problem." Despite the long distance between us, 2 women formed a strong alliance because of a common enemy. On the 5th day after I left the family, Marcus finally got through to me on the phone. "Grace, thank heavens, you finally answered my phone call." He continued. "My attitude was bad on the phone call that day. I was too anxious and scared when I heard you wanted to leave me. I spoke thoughtlessly, it was my fault. Please, don't leave me. I can't live without you. Even if you're angry with me, for Grandma's sake, can you please not hold it against me? Grandma found out you left and has fallen ill from worry." I must say, Marcus's acting was truly natural. He was the one who wanted to kill me. And he was also the one who performed such indistinguishable sincerity in front of me every time. I thought about the saddest things that had happened in my life. "Marcus, you are the person I love most. How could I not be heartbroken to leave you? Since leaving you, I've thought of you every moment. But then I remember you have someone else outside, and I can't accept sharing you with another woman." I whimpered, and 2 actual tears streamed down my face. My good Grace, I was confused for a moment. I deserve to die. I promise you, I will never see her again. She's just a hostess, how could she compare to you? Just come back to me, and we'll start over, okay? I deliberately sniffled into the phone for a long time before speaking. "All right, as long as you promise never to betray me again, I'll come back. I swear, if I ever do anything to wrong you again, I'll come to a bad end." But that's not enough. "Marcus, I need some security." "Grace, just say the word, I'll give you anything, even my life." "Who wants your life?" "I want a small company under the family. I want to learn business too." "No problem. The family is vast and powerful. Pick anyone you like when you return." "Marcus, you're so good to me." After hanging up the phone, I sneered inwardly. If and I divorced, he might lose his position as CEO of Vance. In comparison, a tiny subsidiary was hardly worth mentioning. Revenge might be delayed, but it always comes. "Marcus, just you wait." I had Michael retrieve the divorce agreement, replacing it with a stock transfer agreement. When saw I had chosen Hayes Company, he was slightly surprised, but quickly returned to normal. He probably thought it was just a coincidence. Grandma was so happy to see me return home, she ate 2 large bowls of rice. Back then, the spiritual said Grace would bring good fortune to the family, but I didn't take it to heart. Looking at it now, it turns out Grace is interested in business. Marcus stood by, offering a forced smile, and piled a lot of food into my bowl. Seeing that he had me placated, he started visiting Isabel even more frequently. Watching carefully weave his lies, my heart was surprisingly filled with pity for him. And I wondered whose child Isabel was carrying. On the day the transfer of Hayes Company shares was completed, Marcus personally escorted me to the company for my official appointment. The same day, Isabel mailed the phone recording of Marcus hiring someone to cause the car accident and the information about the perpetrator's car to the police station. The police couldn't find Marcus at the family estate or at the company. They finally took Marcus from Isabel's residence. Shortly after Marcus was taken away, Isabel sent me a message. The family will soon find out about the connection. I'm leaving here today to go abroad for a while. Locker 32 at the east side of Terminal 2, at the airport, holds a video of a witness I recorded about Marcus causing the car accident. Inside, there's also a new passport and ID card I prepared for you. You can choose to leave here and start fresh. Putting down my phone, I felt a sudden sense of profound respect for Isabel. She had even prepared my escape route. I quickly rushed to the airport. After getting the video USB drive, along with Jake's testimony admitting Hayes' past harmful actions against me were instigated by Marcus, I express mailed them to Michael. At the same time, there was also a new stock transfer agreement. Having done everything, I bought a flight ticket for the same day and left that problematic place. After was arrested, it brought to light the family's under-the-table dealings during the transfer of the family's shares back then. The police followed the clues and found out that the family's car accident was not an accident, but rather a hired murder. Years had passed. The large truck driver from that year had long disappeared without a trace. The police put in great effort and finally found the truck driver in a small town. The driver confessed to taking money from the family and deliberately driving against traffic to cause the car accident. According to the driver's testimony, the police arrested William and Catherine, Marcus's parents, who were involved that year. The family members confessed openly to all their actions. That year, the family experienced a financial collapse. They were on the brink of bankruptcy. It was the family, out of consideration for their prospective in-laws through their children's engagement, who timely injected capital into the family, pulling them back from the brink of bankruptcy. Unexpectedly, the family's greed knew no bounds. They wanted to take advantage of the situation to merge Hayes Company, sharing the debts. This was met with strong opposition from Mr. Hayes. The family finally resorted to murder. The bullet fired by the family members that year came back to haunt them years later. After the court's verdict was released, Michael sent it to me immediately. At that time, Isabel and I were sitting in a villa garden abroad. We clinked our glasses together, to her avenging a great wrong, and to me regaining my freedom. In prison, Marcus watched as I exposed his secrets. He had no choice but to begrudgingly sign the divorce agreement. Isabel said, "Grace, you're the most bold and righteous woman I've ever met." I replied, "Isabel, you're the most brave and resourceful woman I've ever met." We exchanged smiles. Suddenly, my curiosity got the better of me. "Isabel, whose baby is that in your belly?" Isabel put on a mysterious expression. "Haha, I carefully selected him from a sperm bank. He's a high-quality biracial baby." Isabel sold her domestic company. With the money, she started a fashion design company abroad. It was the major she studied in college. And I was her only business partner. On our company's feature wall, a large motto was inscribed in English. Unlike the excellence through dedication, success through teamwork, commonly used by domestic companies, or other motivational slogans like flow with creativity, shape with purpose, and excellence through diligence, ours read, build own. Queen's Need. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.